Good morning, everyone. This is the hearing of the licensing panel. Can I ask members to introduce themselves?
Thanks, Chair. Tim Bamford, Denbydale Ward Councillor.
Councillor Mohan Sokal, Greenwood Ward.
Tahir Hanif, Legal Advisor.
Nicola Sylvester, Governance Officer.
Mike Skelton, Senior Licensing Officer.
Jordan Barrett, Licensing Officer.
Good morning, Ian Rushton, here for the agent for the applicants.
Helen Pearson, Head Teacher at Moor Green Primary School.
And I'm Councillor Eric Firth, who will be chairing this hearing today. Can I remind everyone that this is being webcast? So can I ask you to please ensure that your phones are switched off and silent, please? Can I also ask if the participants have received a copy of the licensing hearing procedure, which explains how the hearing will be conducted, and that they have read and understood the information? Okay. Then I'll go back to the formal agenda as I must. Item 1, we conducted a site visit last week, myself and my 2 colleagues. So we go on to the membership of the panel, which we have already done. Minutes of the previous meeting, item 3, can I accept those as true record? That's moved by Councillor Sokal, seconded by Councillor Bamford. Item 4, declarations of interest. Are there none? No. Item 5, admission of the public.
Sorry. This meeting is taking place in the public domain. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 6, deputations and petitions.
None received, Chair.
Thank you. Item 7.
None received,
Public
Chair.
question time. None received. Item 8. We go on to the application for the grant of premises licence for Stop and Shop 293B and 293C Old Wakefield Road, Moor Green, Huddersfield, HD5 8AG. And we now consider the licensing application. Right, the format is questions directed to license. Chair will invite a licensing officer to outline the application.
Thank you, Chair. On the 12th of December 2024, the Licensing Department received an application for the grant of a premise licence for Stop and Shop 293B and 293C Old Wakefield Road, Huddersfield, HD5 8AG. A copy of this application and plan is shown at Appendix A. The licensable activities applied for are as follows. So sales of alcohol off the premise, Sunday to Thursday, 8 AM till 2 AM, and Friday and Saturday, 8 AM till 4 AM. A total of 4 representations have been received in respect of this application, 1 from Environmental Health, 1 from the local ward councillor, and the remaining have been received from members of the public. These representations consider the following licensed objectives would not be met should this full grant application be granted: the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, and the protection of children from harm. A copy of the representations may be seen at Appendix B. The agent proposed a reduction in hours. The proposal was Sunday to Thursday, 8 AM till 11 PM, and Friday and Saturday, 8 AM till midnight. This was rejected by 3 of the 4 objectors. The 3 objectors rejected the proposal as it would not alleviate their concerns relating to the licensing objectives. There was previously a premise licence that was valid at the premise between the 29th of August 2007 and the 14th of September 2022. The licence was cancelled by the previous premise licence holder. The premises had the following activities. So the sale of alcohol Monday to Sunday, 10 AM till midnight. Late night refreshments Monday to Sunday, 11 PM till 1 AM. And recorded music Monday to Sunday, 10 AM till 1 AM. Licensing did not receive any complaints about the premise. When determining the application, members, having had regard to the representations, may take such steps as they consider appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. These steps are grant the application with appropriate conditions, exclude from the scope of the licence and any of the licensable activities which relate to this application, or reject the application. Thank you.
The licensing officer regarding the application. We've done that, haven't
Question directed to the panel.
we? Right.
Does the panel have any questions?
Have you any questions to ask the licensing officer, colleagues? No? No? No questions to the licensing officer. We go on to the applicant, Farnham Hakim, or his representatives, to outline the application, please.
Okay, thank you, Chair. So as you've heard, this is a brand new, it's a new business venture, and the shop, which is currently empty, I believe it's been empty for quite a while, is being refurbished as a new general convenience store. So the new shop would sell a wide range of goods, everything that you would expect to see in a convenience store, such as magazines, soft drinks, a variety of day-to-day groceries, snacks, sweets, soft drinks, and so on. The proposed alcohol sales would just be a part of the overall business, with the focus of the business as a new general convenience store. So this is not going to be a shop that just focuses on selling lots of alcohol or cheap alcohol. It's a small shop, and in terms of the floor plan which is being submitted with the application, as you walk in to the main door, through the entrance, the counter will be on the left. There'll be some spirits behind the counter, and then there'll be a selection of beers and wines for customers to choose. As you've heard from the licensing officer, this site has held a licence before for 15 years, and the licensing times are similar, in some cases previously later than what we've applied for today. So just a little bit about the applicant farm. He lives in Huddersfield. He's taken out a long-term 10-year lease on this property, so he's making a big investment, and he plans on being here in the long term. He wants to run a good, successful business, and hopefully it'll become an asset to the local community. Hopefully the local residents' objectors may become customers of his in the future. He's an experienced operator, Chair. He's a licence holder of a shop in Wakefield already. He's had that shop for 4 years. That shop runs well, no issues, no problems with the authorities. Everything running perfectly fine, promoting the licensing objectives. Foreman, he has a personal licence from Kirklees. He will be the designated premises supervisor, the DPS, at this new shop, working in the shop on a daily basis and being in charge of the alcohol sales. He would employ 2 or 3 staff to cover the various opening times, and he would always make sure the shop was suitably staffed and enough staff on duty, especially at the busier periods of the weekends and later into the evening. He has a good clean record, Chair, no issues with any authorities such as underage sales or selling any illicit goods. All goods are purchased from the local genuine wholesalers. So in summary, he has the experience, he's a responsible person, a responsible operator, and we say he's clearly more than able to run this shop well with a licence if granted today. As you've heard, the application has been amended, and the proposed hours have been reduced with a closing time of 11 p.m. Sunday to Thursday, and a closing time of 12 midnight on just Fridays and Saturdays. We would say that they would be reasonable hours and a sensible compromise in all the circumstances. A detailed and comprehensive set of licence conditions has been proposed to promote the licensing objectives. I won't go through each and every single one of them. You've got them in your papers, they're in your report, but I'll just highlight several of maybe some of the key conditions. So that would include a good quality CCTV camera system, which would cover the whole of the inside space, images being kept for 31 days, a minimum of 31 days, minimum 6 cameras, with 2 cameras covering the immediate area outside the shop. Recordings will be kept for 31 days, made available to the police and to the authorities should they ever need them. The shop would keep an incident log. They would use the Challenge 25 policy to prevent any underage sales. They'll keep an alcohol refusals log. Staff will, of course, be trained responsibly about all matters relating to the responsible sale of alcohol, and that training will be refreshed every 6 months. Regular litter checks, and I know litter has been mentioned in the representations. Regular litter checks outside. There'll be a bin available for customers, and they'll put signs up telling people not to drop litter in the area of the shop. We say, Chair, that they are detailed, they're comprehensive conditions which appear to have been accepted by the responsible authorities in this application. In terms of the representations and the outcome of the consultation period, we do firmly understand the concerns of the members of the public. They ask you to refuse the application outright, which we would say would appear to be totally unreasonable in terms of this application. Hopefully the reduced times, the proposed licence conditions, the applicant's experience of running a business like this may provide at least some reassurance to the objectors. Obviously you'll hear from the objectors shortly. Generally there seems to be a fear that this new shop may cause some ASB or disturbance in the area and other problems if a licence is granted. ASB happens in all our communities. Unfortunately, it isn't something that can necessarily be blamed on existing shops or any new shops that may come into the area. Obviously, this is a brand new shop which hasn't even opened yet. It is currently being refurbished. In terms of ASB, crime and disorder, as you know, the police haven't objected to the application. They raise no issues. This is important today as they're your main source of information on local crime and disorder, and they're satisfied. They were actually satisfied with the original application, I believe, and raised no issues with the application today. Likewise, the other authorities, which, as you know, just include training standards, the licensing authority, safeguarding, all okay with the application and raised no issues with the application from being granted today. Foreman is making a big investment, Chair. He'll do everything that he can within his control to prevent any issues or problems from cropping up at the premises. So, for example, one of the issues seems to be that if, what would happen if children or youths begin to hang around the shop. Well, clearly they'll be asked to move on. They'll be asked to move on quickly, firmly, but politely. If there's ever a bigger problem that the applicants or the staff need the help of the police, then the police will be called in the same way as every licensed premises should act responsibly. The CCTV is also there to help and assist with any offences, and the CCTV can also act as a deterrent because the cameras will be positioned covering the outside area of the shop. There's a couple of mentions of underage sales and children having access to alcohol. Again, the application clearly put steps in place to prevent any underage sales. Children won't be able to purchase alcohol or indeed any other age-restricted items from the shop. The Challenge 25 policy will be in place, the staff will be trained, and Foreman already has over 4 years' experience of running a licensed premises. So we say, the steps are in place to make sure that there are no underage sales. Litter is mentioned several times in the representations, and again, the application submitted already proposes conditions such as regular litter checks, a bin being provided, and putting up the signs telling people not to drop any litter. We say that they are reasonable and sensible conditions with a convenience store selling some alcohol. As you know, there are some matters within the representations, such as traffic, parking, whilst clearly they're important matters, Chair, they're not relevant matters in terms of today's proceedings, in terms of a licence application. You'll fully be aware of that, I'm sure. Now, I understand from the agents who submitted the application, I've been asked to step in quite late, that Environmental Health have agreed to the updated hours. I haven't seen any confirmation of that. That's the information I've got. Is that not right? Okay, no problem. In terms of the environmental health comments, we have submitted the updated hours. We'd say that they are reasonable and sensible. I believe one of the objectors has withdrawn their representations. That might be the local councillor.
No.
Which one?
No one's withdrawn.
Right.
They're just not obviously here to attend, unable to attend.
I know from the information there were three of the four hadn't
Oh, yeah.
agreed, but one of them had agreed the proposed hours. I was just wondering who that
Yeah,
was.
that's correct. Sorry, that's correct, yeah.
So who has
The
withdrawn?
ward councillor.
Right, okay, thank you, Chair. So one of the, Tony, the original agent for the application, offered the proposed hours. I think that information was shared, and at least one of the objectors, which is Councillor Conn, has withdrawn their objection and is satisfied with the steps that were taken. In terms of the updated hours, to Environmental Health and to the other objectors, we would say that based upon the previous site having a licence till midnight and 1 o'clock, that the proposal to have a 12 midnight licence on just 2 days a week would seem sensible and a reasonable compromise in the whole of the application and the circumstances. There's no objections from any other of the local ward councillors. Councillor Hawkins and Ahmed raised no issues about the application. In summary, Chair, we say this will be a well-run shop. The application is a good one. You have an experienced and responsible operator today before you. The hours have been reduced based upon some of the comments from the authorities and from the objectors, and would ask you to grant the application. We'll leave it there, Chair, and we'll try to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr Rushton. I'm sure there are some questions.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. In the application, I believe in the crime and disorder section, 2.6, it says a night hatch will be in use from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. every night. All sales shall be made for this hatch. Obviously, you're proposing on a Friday and Saturday you're opening until midnight. Is that hatch still going to be in use between 11 and midnight?
Okay, thank you, Chair. If the members are minded to grant the application today, and you're minded to grant the application till 12 midnight, we would invite you to consider whether there is actually a need for the serving hatch between 11 and 12. If you believe that the serving hatch is necessary between the hours of 11 and 12, if you're minded to grant the midnight licence, then it's part of the application that will be adopted. But the night hatch was submitted based upon the much later proposed hours of 2 and 4 a.m, which would be an extra 5 hours on some nights. The fact that there's only 1 hour's difference between 11 and 12, I feel, and the applicant feels, it may not be absolutely necessary today, but we appreciate it was part of the application and it was a submitted offering at the time. So it would be your decision, depending upon what times you would be minded to grant any application for.
Thank you. Colleagues, have you any questions? Mohan, Tim? Okay. I've just one question. You've mentioned litter. If we were minded to grant it, because obviously there's a long way to go in this hearing, you mentioned placing a litter bin outside. I think not only maybe it can be a bit more proactive than that and ensure that the area is kept clean. That would mean litter picking almost on a daily basis or whenever necessary. But that would be, I think, perhaps a condition going forward.
Yes, absolutely, Chair. I mean, the application already includes conditions about regular litter checks, regular litter sweeps. That will be definitely a condition that foreman and the staff will do litter checks on a regular basis. Certainly, there's peak times for any litter checks. Certainly, the morning time before the school run, the late afternoon school run as children maybe have visited the shop, and there's maybe some litter maybe dropped in the area. Foreman and the staff will fully clear away any litter and remove the litter responsibly. The litter bin is an offering, again, just to make it clear that they want to make sure that their business is clean, it's tidy. They don't want litter, you know, accumulating outside their business. It's not good for the community, and it's certainly not good for a new business. So yeah, certainly, Chair, that will be an offering anyway.
Thank you. Councillor Sokal.
Yeah, Chair, thank you. On our site visit, I think it was last week, yes, we noticed it's a big building material on the side of on the shop, when you go on the side of there, which is looking very horrible, yeah? I don't know why it's there. Are you going to remove that before you open the shop?
Yes, through you, Chair. I mean, any work that is currently going on and any refurbishment work, then before the shop will be ready to open, Foreman will make sure that everything is clean, it's tidy, it's safe, it complies with all the different legislation such as food safety, environmental health, etc. So everything that is maybe currently there, if it's associated with any refurbishments and work, then everything will be cleared professionally before the shop will be ready to open for business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If there are no more questions, could I ask you to make your objections now, please?
Good morning. I'm Helen Pearson. I'm the head teacher of Moor Green Primary School, 90 yards from the proposed off-licence, which was previously a Chinese takeaway. I'm here to oppose the granting of the licence on 3 counts. The first one is in line with Kirklees' key objectives of 3.5, the improved outcomes for children, protecting children from harm. The sale of alcohol during late night hours has known correlation with antisocial behaviour and loitering and noise disturbances. This poses a threat to the safety and well-being of the residents, particularly the vulnerable children. And in the Dalton ward, we have a high number of vulnerable children. We currently have over 30% of pupils at our school with pupil premium allocation. Allowing such an establishment near the school increases the likelihood of exposing the children to inappropriate and unsafe behaviour. Even with the reduced hours of opening, it would pose a threat to the welfare of the children. There are at least 7 families who live in close proximity to the site and the school. They play out every night and would put a harm if the antisocial behaviour occurred. Broken glass and sharp objects are a real safety hazard, and we do struggle with that in the Avenue and Popular Terrace. I've seen examples of the antisocial behaviour and the cause it occurs, because I was previously a Marsden resident with the Ale Trail, and with the broken glass and the trail, it can cause a major issue. And my biggest worry is, you know, children, youths would pick the glass up and use them as weapons. And that's my issue under the 2.8, which is the public harm. I just ask why jeopardise the safety of children when it isn't necessary. Anyone who should require provisions or alcohol late at night, there are 2 current options in the one-stop shop on Broad Lane, currently open until 10 p.m, and Tesco Express until 11 p.m. on Wakefield Road, both within a 5-minute walk of Old Wakefield Road and the school. Both shops are not near the school and both have current licences. The littering issue is a big issue. Our caretaker currently has to go down the avenue regularly and Popular Terrace because, as we know, litter blows everywhere. Discarded bottles, cans, things like that pose a health and environmental concern. We are constantly dealing with vermin around the school, and that's where children walk and play daily. Presence of litter undermines the cleanliness and the appeal of the community, and even though there's a road sweeper, it is still a constant battle. and so it would be additional work and additional funds for the authority that we know Kirklees can ill afford. The measures of 3.3 with the bins and sweeping, we know that the litter won't just be around the shop, it will be further widespread, so that is a major concern for me. And the close proximity of the school, I know it's not a part of the licence, but I'd like you to think about it, because the traffic when it's drop off and pick up at school times, and with the church being very close in proximity, the footfall, there is always difficulties with the traffic at peak times, even though senior leaders, including myself, stand on the gate and, you know, patrol the area to try and keep the traffic moving. There is danger already for children crossing roads at difficult, you know, high traffic times, and limited parking in the car parks by the church. In summary, the approval of this late night licence risks undermining the safety, cleanliness and community atmosphere surrounding the school, and I would urge you to reject the application and prioritise the well-being of local residents, including the children, and protect them from harm, so that, you know, we can move on. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pearson. Mark?
Good morning. Hello. Just in response to the applicant agent comment in relation to environmental services being in agreement with the amended hours, that's not correct. We would like to see the hours closing times be 2300 hours, 11 p.m. I made the representation. Shall I just read it through and then add some points? We do not support and object to the hours for the sale of alcohol in this application. In fact, in terms of the alcohol, it's in terms of the business itself, those hours. The reason for this is that residents in the vicinity of the proposal on Old Wakefield Road, the Avenue and Elmfield Terrace are likely to have their sleep disrupted after 2300 hours, that's 11 p.m, and before 8 a.m. By noise from customers arriving in cars, revving engines, amplified music from cars, customers sat on their phones in their cars and on speakerphones, which amplifies it, which is just meters away from residential properties. In addition to the cars, there's noise from customers congregating outside on the streets, talking loudly on their phones with friends, etc. And all this is outside the control, the sphere of influence of the applicant. There's no way that he can control this noise, these activities. Best will in the world, he can approach them, but there is no control that can be dealt with there. We aren't objecting to the application in principle, it's just the hours of use because of the residential area. We need to protect local residents. I've quoted here, disruptive sleep is a pervasive problem. Numerous factors are from lifestyle and environmental factors to psychological issues. Sleep is vital to most major psychological processes, such as sleep disruption. There's a vast potential for adverse short-term and long-term underlying medical conditions. So basically, what we're trying to avoid is creating anxiety and intrusion from activities outside the hours of the business. So we're still hoping for 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. 2300 hours, and that's it in a nutshell. Really, there's, you know, we're not objecting to it in principle. We're just looking to protect the public from public nuisance, from noise, and ensure that there isn't it's not detrimental to the health of local residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Colleagues, have you any questions to the objectors?
Yeah. Can I ask?
Can you put microphone on?
Can you put your microphone on, please?
Yeah, keep forgetting. Yeah. I was reading report. The previous holder of the shop, he had the license. Yeah. from 10 till 12, yeah. And the license says they haven't received any complaint that time. Did you experience any problem that time? And you did not report to the off license?
I've never known it as an off licence. I've only known it as a Chinese takeaway while I've been at the school.
So it wasn't there that time there?
There was no issue with it when it was a takeaway, but I think the issue is a different issue because it's a different type of premises now.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. We've been on the site visit on last week, yeah. We were looking school building right where this shop premise are. Is the main access to the school is that road or the other side?
The main thoroughfare for the school is that one. Some children come out from the top side, but the majority of children enter through the main gates there.
Even the parents?
Even the parents. So I would say...
Picking up, yeah.
Yeah, I would say we've got 400 children on site. I would say probably 150 enter through the top gate and the remaining enter through the bottom gate. When we do gate duty every day, and I would say, you know, the senior leaders see more footfall through. It depends where the parents live, obviously, because if they are further up towards Coniston Avenue and that way, we split our catchment with Nether Hall, whereas we've got a lot of children coming from down at Aspley, across on Senior Street, various places like that. So they tend to use that front gate.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mama. Tim?
Yeah. Hello. On the same subject, if they're dropping off by car, do a lot drop off by car?
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
Right. So it's a one-way street past the shop,
Yeah.
isn't it? So they're going to pass it of a morning, which
Yeah.
is probably not going to be that busy, hopefully. And at night when they're picking up, they're going out, away from the shop, aren't they?
Well, some will go down the hill, some will go around Popular Terrace, but the amount of times I've had the PCSOs and traffic wardens up trying to sort the traffic out, because we've reported on radar 2 near misses with children nearly being knocked over because parents still try and park. You know, we cone it out, we try and do, you know, we have a senior leader there. I challenge taxis and people will stop, but it is a nightmare. And if you get a funeral at the same time at the church, you can appreciate the amount of traffic there is because everybody's trying to get into that one-way system.
Yeah, right, yeah. I know the schools in my ward are a nuisance. It's at picking up and dropping off time, so...
Every school is.
yeah, it is, yeah. I'm just wondering how much this is going to add to that, that's all.
Yeah.
Right, thank you.
Chair, can I just clarify something, please, just based on what the Councillor Sokol was saying. As Jordan said, that there has been a premise licence at this particular unit since 2007. As the lady says, it's a Chinese takeaway that had alcohol sales. So my reading of that and my understanding of that is that the alcohol sales are ancillary to the actual business. So this is a completely new venture. So this isn't like for like. I just wanted to clarify that it was not an off licence in the past. It was a takeaway with ancillary alcohol sales.
Hi, sorry, I neglected to ask a question to the panel. It was about the representation, about the hours. What I'd like to see is that if licensing committee panel would mirror the hours at the one-stop shop / Tesco. I mean, those hours are in place purely to protect local residents. It's a similar situation in some respects. Residents in the vicinity of the proposed premises are closer than those at the one-stop shop and Tesco's. I'd like that to be reflected, so some kind of consistency there to look at protecting the public. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Let's get this straight, and correct me if I'm wrong. This is a convenience store with a off licence. Yes, solely. Yeah, I understand.
So just on that point, Chair, yeah, so it's a general convenience store selling a wide range of goods, alcohol. Using the term ancillary would be ancillary to the business. So it's just an extra item to be sold in a convenience store. Yes, Chair.
Are there any questions to the objectors? No? You've any more? Okay. The applicant will be given an opportunity to respond to any points raised by the objectors.
I will obviously summarise at the end. But I suppose just a couple of matters or a couple of comments to mention at this point, Chair. Environmental Health Officer is completely right. Matters such as, which has been described today and in the representation, matters such as somebody on their phone or play music in a car in a local area isn't within the control of an applicant or indeed a licence holder. And the guidance says the same. So we can only be responsible and control matters within the applicant's control. Something that takes place inside the shop or the area right outside the shop. Traffic and car parking isn't a relevant consideration. I know there's been lots of comments and discussions about the problems, and I've got children at school age. I completely understand the school drop-off points and the times. It's a mad 20-30 minutes twice a day during the school terms. But in terms of this shop, even if this shop didn't have a licence and opened as a convenience store, those problems would still exist. An alcohol licence in our submission isn't going to add any issues in terms of the numbers of people in the area, the traffic, parking, and in any event, the legislation makes it clear, Chair, those matters just not relevant in a licence application. So we'd ask you, again, at this point, just to, with respect to disregard matters such as parking, traffic, and anything else which is beyond foreman's control. Clearly, there's other shops in the area, and I believe they have licences, so I believe to 11 p.m. They don't seem to be causing any problems. If there was, there may have been mention of that today. Consistency is always a word used in licensing, and to a point that's important, but every application must be considered on its merits. The steps that are being proposed in this application, we say will promote the licensing objectives also between the hours of 11 and 12 twice a week. And that's all it is, just to allow this business to offer that service and to get started. I'll leave it there, Chair. Obviously, I can summarise any other points at the end.
Thank you. Objectors, would you, any more comments?
I just think we have to be careful because as the community hub lead as well, I know that one of the priorities is about decreasing antisocial behaviour, and we have, various gangs in the area, and we just need to make sure that we're protecting the area from harm. That's all I ask.
Mark?
Sorry, if I can just add, twice a week operating from 11 p.m. to midnight, but those days of the week are quite sensitive days. We've got people finishing work, wanting to relax, maybe go to bed early, and even if not so, just relax in their homes. So it's very sensitive times of the week and sensitive times of the day. So just in response to that. Okay.
Mr. Rush, would you like to sum up, please?
Briefly, Chair, we'd say this is a good licence application by an experienced operator, by a responsible operator, which should give you the confidence that this new shop will be well run with a licence. As you know, this application today is just about whether this shop can sell some alcohol. The business can open, the business will be opening in the near future. It's just whether you are happy and satisfied that an alcohol licence will promote the licensing objectives. We say clearly it would. The proposed conditions, they're comprehensive, and we ask you to give considerable weight to the fact that all of the other responsible authorities are satisfied with the application. In terms of local ASB, crime and disorder, in particular, your policy and the legislation and the guidance makes it clear that the police are crucial in that role. They're satisfied with the application. They were satisfied with the later licence application. So, in terms of what's before you today, the police raise no issues and are satisfied that this shop with a licence will not increase or cause any increased antisocial behaviour or crime and disorder. We appreciate the school is nearby, but my daughter's school, is right opposite a convenience store. It's really, really common for a business, for a convenience store, to be placed near to schools, near to churches. It's common in the whole of the country. The key is whether that business is going to sell underage alcohol or indeed any other items, especially vapes. Certainly vapes are becoming more high profile in the last couple of years. This business has adopted the Challenge 25 scheme. Your trading standards team raised no issues with the steps that have been proposed. Plus, Foreman has all the experience and the personal licence with yourselves, so his record is completely clean. And again, that should give you the confidence that this new shop will be well run. As you'll be fully aware, the word evidence is key. It's crucial today. Your decision is based upon the information that you have before you and the evidence, as per the case law and the various parts of the guidance. We say the conditions will promote the licensing objectives. In terms of the protection of children, and I completely understand the head teacher's comments, Foreman is fully responsible for the protection of children, and the steps are being proposed. In terms of the licence application, will protect children from harm. Your safeguarding panel raised no concerns about the protection of children from harm. With respect, we say the evidence is limited in this application in terms of preventing the licence from either being granted or from being a reduced time from what we propose. Speculation on what might happen and that people might use their phones outside and they might play music, with respect, that may not happen. We say it's unlikely to happen, and if it does happen, then action can be taken. There is the review procedure. There are steps that can be taken in the event that any of these things happen to come true. We say it's unlikely, but there are steps. There's a safety net for anybody to deal with any issues. This site has had a licence for 15 years. Appreciate it was a Chinese restaurant, but there doesn't appear to be any complaints about customers driving up to the Chinese restaurant, playing music in the cars. If there was complaints, I'm sure the environmental health officer would have logged them as part of today. So everything seems pretty quiet historically, and we say there's no reason to believe that this shop, as a convenience store, is going to cause any of these issues. Antisocial behaviour, we know the police are important. The Licensing Act isn't the main reason or the main source to control antisocial behaviour once people are away from the control of the licence holder. And again, your environmental health officer has said the same thing. The guidance confirms it, and your policy confirms that at paragraph 212. I've mentioned before matters such as traffic, parking, etc. The important matters, completely understand that, but in terms of a licensing application, they're not something that you're aware that you can't take those matters into account today. We say, Chair, the evidence tells you to grant this application. We say the evidence tells you to grant the application till midnight on 2 days a week, and we'd ask you to approve that application today. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Rushton. Can I ask licensing officers if they wish to comment?
I've got no comments, but do you want me to sum up? Please. Yeah. So, the Licensing Department received an application for the Stop and Shop on the 12th of December 2024. The application that was applied for by the applicant was a sale of alcohol off the premise, Sunday to Thursday, 8 a.m. till 2 a.m, Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. till 4 a.m. 4 representations were received. The applicant did put forward a proposal of a reduction of hours. These were Sunday to Thursday, 8 a.m. till 11 p.m, and Friday and Saturday, 8 a.m. till midnight. This was rejected by 3 of the 4 objectors. The 3 objectors rejected the proposal as it would not alleviate their concerns relating to the licensing objectives. As mentioned, there was a previous licence at this premise from the 29th of August 2007 to the 14th of September 2022. This was the Chinese takeaway, which had a licence for the sale of alcohol Monday to Sunday, 10 a.m. till midnight, late night refreshments Monday to Sunday, 11 p.m. till 1 a.m, and recorded music Monday to Sunday, 10 a.m. till 1 a.m. We did not receive any complaints about this premise. When determining the application, members, having had regard to the representations, may take such steps as they consider appropriate for the promotion of the licensing objectives. These steps are to grant the application with appropriate conditions, exclude from scope of the licence any of the licensable activities which relate to this application, or reject the application. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like another opportunity to sum up? No. No. Well, thank you all. While we consider the application. Thank you for your patience, both applicants, objectors and officers. Obviously, we've discussed this at length, and what we have decided, that the application be approved with the following conditions. That the sale of alcohol of the premises be Sunday to Saturday, 8 till 2300 hours. That litter be collected throughout the day and disposed of correctly, along with keeping a log of collections to be produced on request from the responsible authorities. Thank you. The reason for the decision are that granting the licence with conditions would not be inconsistent with the following licensing objectives. That the prevention of crime and disorder, public safety, the prevention of public nuisance, the prevention of children from harm. There has been no objections from West Yorkshire Police, West Yorkshire Trading Standards or Kirklees Council Safeguarding Department, and by reducing the sale of alcohol will instigate any likely impact of public... Will mitigate, sorry, and I should have put my glasses on. Will mitigate any likely impact of public nuisance. Thank you.